Hey everybody and welcome back to JG Wam's 2023 year in review, the final part where we talk about video games, the thing actually relevant to this channel. Although, I really wish I could just talk about whatever the hell I liked. I love movies, I love comics, I love video games. God, it'd be great to just jump between them. I guess I could. It's not like this YouTube channel matters or has any traction whatsoever. So, as for everything else, I gave myself a challenge. I believe I was to beat 4 games a month. I managed to beat 74 total. Although, you know, I wouldn't have much of an argument in some of these cases. Like, for example, January 2nd, I beat the Anacrusis for Xbox Game Pass, which is a multiplayer shooter. And by beat, I really mean I just played it to the full extent that I would play it. To me, that's beating it. And yeah, you're right. That shouldn't count. But I'm counting it. So, I don't really know what to tell you. This is a game that has a really cool vibe, but overall, it's just like, if I remember right, it's just like a co-op shooter where you and a team of 3 other people get onto like a 1950s style, like, space cruiser thing, and it's kind of Left 4 Dead-ish. Just, there's like aliens or mutants or something like that, and you're just killing them. It's got a cool vibe, cool aesthetic, but ultimately it was just kind of a whatever game, so I don't know. Maybe there's more to it than I gave it credit for, but I kind of slid right off of it, so. January 5th, I beat Power Washer Simulator for the Xbox Game Pass. This is a terrible game, and I highly recommend not getting into it, especially if you have the same kind of brain problems that I do, where you just can't stop yourself, even though you're kind of bored of the game. It's like oddly satisfying and not satisfying at all. And some of the later levels go on for way too goddamn long. I ended up really relishing in the vehicle levels where they were much smaller, contained, and it wasn't this massive. Like the last level, I think, is this pyramid, and you have to clean it inside and out. And it just... I'd come this far. Sunk cost fallacy? Yeah, that one. But no, it's not at all bad. Just I rushed through it, and my particular brain problems forced me to just play too much of it too rapidly. If you spread it out over a longer period of time, I think it would be a great game. And it is a great game. I mean, I still would recommend it. January 22nd, I beat Tiny Tina's Wonderlands on Steam. What a ho-hum nothing experience. Man, I love Borderlands as a concept, and more is like the headcanon in my brain than I do actual Borderlands, I think, unfortunately. But yeah, Tiny Tina, not a fan of her character. There's basically just like, you're just random NPCs and then your character, and then like they're just playing like a D&D game. And it's fine. It's fine. There's nothing good or bad about it. It is, and you shoot, and it's fun. I played it single player. Big mistake. Highly recommend playing it with friends. Like any Borderlands game, you should just play it with friends. There was like an RPG overworld, which was like kind of cute sometimes. And I mean, like, you know, there are some fun fantasy elements. I couldn't name a single one of them, being that it's been a year now since I played it, but I don't know. I don't want Borderlands to do like weird shit like this. I want them to give a fuck about... I'm just going to get into it real quick. I'm sorry. I really like Borderlands 1. That's a game that I played with 3 friends, and we each had separate TVs and like 4... It was like one of the few games I actually did a full-on LAN for, and we did 100% of it over the course of like a 3-day weekend or something. It was an incredible experience. And so I've always had like a real soft spot for Borderlands because of that, even though Borderlands doesn't fucking respect itself enough to be taken seriously. So I'd like it if they could figure out a balance between their quote-unquote humor, which I think is very bad and has only gotten worse over time, and their like actual world building, because I do think there's like some cool stuff in the vaults, the Iridian things, all the different planets now that we're finally fucking planet hopping as of BL3. There's like a war, but then that just got dropped because, well, streamers? I don't know. And then yeah, this is just, I don't like it. It's a world within a world with characters that like are only kind of funny, and it's all played for jokes. That just doesn't really work for me. It's not terrible, and if you have friends and you can't get enough, if you've already played Borderlands 1, 2, 3, and the pre-sequel, even the pre-sequel's worth playing. I'm sure there's some people out here who really like this game. January 24th, I played and beat Lego Builder's Journey through Epic. This is like a demo, so I'm glad I got it for free. I got it through the Epic Games Store. I highly recommend having the Epic Games Store just to get all their free games. I've gotten free games for like 3-4 years, and I have like a massive backlog of like, granted, several games I already own just because I bought them on like Steam or systems or something, but like, I know that people have problems with it, but like, all storefronts are bad. All, like, any website where you have to like log in and it tracks your information is like bad. Like, I can't give a fuck about that. So like, because I've heard some people really like, I don't know, Epic Games Store really sucks. And I'm like, I would never buy anything on it. I did once, and then I immediately got a refund. So, I don't know. But I don't have a problem with it existing. Sorry, that was a random aside. Lego Builder's Journey has a great look and is kind of like a demo. It's just so short, and it's so cute. And if you can get it for free or really, really cheap, it's a cute little experience. I feel like it's a prologue that should be like attached to a bigger Lego game, like kind of like a Pixar short before a Pixar movie. I think that would be a great application of this game. It tells just like a cute little story about a dad and a kid getting lost and separated and like coming back together while like hiking or something, I guess. I don't know. It was cute. February 2nd, beat the Power Wash Simulator Tomb Raider DLC. Just more Power Wash Simulator, this time with a Tomb Raider lens. You get to clean her like obstacle course and some of her vehicles and stuff. It's the same thing as Power Wash. You know, Tomb Raider. If you'd like that, it's really worth it. I don't have any connection to the Tomb Raider series. I've tried multiple times, and I just can't get into Lara Croft's adventures, unfortunately, but it's fun. February 8th, beat Pillars of Eternity Definitive Edition. Really, really good CRPG. Deals a lot with, like, they have a very unique, like, death mechanic, like, in the lore. Like, how death works in that world is, like, we're all just souls that, like, go into a place, and then the gods, like, redisperse them, and they can kind of do whatever they want with them, and, like, souls are like a very real thing, and you can like turn them into like you can utilize them for energy and stuff. And so it like talks about like the value of a soul and like what you can do with a soul. Lots of cool little story threads like that. And then you have your party of 6 or 5. Maybe it's I think it's a 5-person party. I mean, you have like 12 companions or something total, but hey, you just go around and you're dealing with, oh, what's the problem in the first one? Oh, it's just like that terrorist guy. There's some like terrorist dude running around causing problems, and you got to chase him down and fight him. Put him down. Or, I mean, you can do whatever you want with them. But, yeah. Pillars of Eternity Definitive Edition. Excellent CRPG. I've been really wanting to get more into CRPGs because I played a few and I like them, but they're just like, it's just intimidating looking at them. They're like strategy games. I'm just looking at that and I'm just like, God damn, the amount of time I'd have to put into that son of a bitch. It'd be a fun time, but it's just so much of it, so I don't know. Alright, I got through fucking One Piece this year, and there's nothing everything scares me still. Oh, yeah. February 11th. Beat Kirby's Dreamland on the Switch. Ended up doing like a mini Kirby marathon, kind of. I like revisited several Kirby games throughout the year, I think. Kirby's Dreamland, just ran through it one night. I was just kind of like, I haven't played this in a while, and it's literally a 20-minute long game. Great little experience. My grandma got this for me for like the original red brick Game Boy. And I would go over to her house and she would have a fucking Game Boy. Like, she didn't have an NES or anything. She had a Game Boy. So I'd go over there to play like a handheld game until eventually she was like, yeah, you can have it. Because I had like cousins who lived out of city, but I was the one who lived in the city. So I would go over all the time and be like playing Game Boy all the time. But then she wouldn't let me take it home because she was like, well, what if the cousins visit? Which is like, you would know when the cousins are visiting. I could just bring it back and have it here, whatever. And also they have their own game, whatever. Kirby's Dreamland. Really great game. Really quick. Worth playing. I recommend it. It's Kirby's first game. You don't even get powers. It's just you can jump, you can fly, and you can hit people with stuff you inhale. You can't you don't get any powers or anything. But it's still, it's so quick. It's like a granola bar. Granola bars are fine. Everybody likes a granola bar, you know, if it's fucking hit the spot. February 13th, played through Kirby's Nightmare in Dreamland for the GBA. This is a remake of Kirby's Adventure for the NES. Which is, I wish I liked that game more, but for some reason in my memories, it just drags for some reason, so I like don't necessarily like Kirby's Adventure that much. But I think it is a good game. But anyway, this is a remake of it, and it's got like a nice GBA-style Kirby art style, which like if you've ever seen people using like sprites from Kirby games, it's usually those, because they look really nice, and there's like a lot of options, I guess, I don't know the word I'm looking for. Doesn't matter. But yeah, it's a good game, solid remake. It's Kirby. You run around, you get powers. Adventure was the second game in the series, and it lets you absorb powers off people. And this is a competent remake. I I don't really remember more than that. Just that it was fine. So on February 15th, I beat Maneater, again, free game through Epic Game Store. And Maneater is the shark RPG, and it is great. It lasts exactly as long as it needs to. It gives you enough kind of power-ups that I only had to do like a little bit of grinding to get everything unlocked that I wanted. And yeah, it's just a shark RPG, man. What do you think you do? You you swim around and you eat fish and you eat people and you fuck up boats and then they start shooting back at you and you take those. Like you get turned into like a freak radioactive shark and stuff like that. You can turn into like like bones and stuff on you, like a exoskeleton kind of thing growing out of you. Like, yeah, it's cool. And it, like I said, it ended. Maybe it was like an hour longer than it needed to be, but like it ended right around when I was like, yeah, I'm done with this, and I did basically everything because I'm an insane person like that. But again, a great game when you don't pay any money for it, or maybe get it for extremely cheap. This isn't anything that I'd be going out of my way for, but it's not at all a bad time. Just, it's not, yeah, I don't know. If you, I don't know, man. Jumping off onto the beach and, like, eating people, that's a good time. It's worth it. Check it out. Next up, Arkanoid, the Eternal Battle on GOG. This is just, like, a new Arkanoid game, which is, like, Breakout, that thing where you're, like, a paddle on the bottom and there's a ball going up. Yeah, it's just that newer. I played through, like, the single-player game, or single-player levels. It's Arkanoid. I don't know. I was kind of hoping for more. I wasn't really into it as much as I was hoping for. I was kind of hoping for more of, like, that Atari Recharged feel. I really like the Atari Recharge games, at least most of them. If you haven't played those, you should definitely check them out. I highly recommend them. February 25th, me and a buddy, we played through the Sons of the Forest Early Access. We loved the Forest. We played through it. One of my favorite co-op experiences, discovering everything in that game was just really good. And Sons of the Forest, I really, 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 really regret getting in on it on day one. I should have waited till they left Early Access, because I played the Forest after it was wrapped. Like, I played the Forest like 4 or 5 years, well, maybe more now. I don't know. Time moves so goddamn fast. But I played it like well after it was done with development. It was a great time, perfect package. And Sons of the Forest is, they're like still making changes to that game. And yeah, so I'm still waiting I'm going to replay it and see where it's at. And this was not by any means bad, just like the ending was non-existent and like there was some major glitches and yeah, I don't know. And it's one of those things where like, I wish there was more reason to build. I really like building in games, and it's much more efficient to just make a small camp and stay there for a little bit and then eventually move on than it is to like build like a home base and expect to live there for the whole game. And that's what I'd rather have. And I will say it was really, really fun because I started making like a huge base, but then eventually the game just kind of started breaking and I was like, oh, hopefully updates will make this work better. I don't know if my save's still around or if like, I don't know, it probably is, or if it's compatible. Maybe there's, I don't know. But yeah, I was doing like a big zipline base and off to other mini bases nearby, and I was having fun putting that together. But then having to just deal with like more and more cannibals, eventually I was just like getting annoyed because I didn't have enough. I literally wouldn't be able to build anything because just another cannibal showed up, and I was like, okay. But yeah, I'm excited to check out Sons of the Forest again once it's like done, because it did add a lot of cool features. I like the I don't remember his name, but the little deaf mute boy who follows you around, and the three-armed, three-legged girl, Virginia. I remember her name. Is his name like Kenneth or something? Craigery? Next up, March 2nd, I beat, this is another game that I soloed when I really should have played it co-op, Gotham Knights, the epitome of mediocre. Man, this game had some really great dialogue if you're like a comic book fan and really like know most of the characters and like most of the major events and beats that have happened throughout Batman's history. They referenced some cool stuff, but like overall the story itself was pretty weak. The boss fights were very good and bombastic. I really liked the boss fights. I remember especially Clayface being like, that was another well-written bit of the game. But yeah, and then the playstyle is just weird because they just took Batman and divided him into 4. They didn't really make 4 unique characters. They just kind of took an aspect of Batman and split him off into 4 ways. I gotta say, I wish that they hadn't done that. I wish all 4 of them just played kind of uniquely. Or if they had like Batman's base kit and then like each of them had a solid like like each of them, their move sets, half of them was just Batman and it was identical to one another, like mostly movement and some basic like combos, and then each of them had an equivalent amount of their move set, but that was unique to Robin, Nightwing, Red Hood, and Batgirl. But of course not. And then like also the skins look bad. Why do they just do that? Why do they give us like shitty fucking skins that look terrible and like 20 shitty recolors that just look terrible? I don't. Who wants that cheap shit? Just give us like 6 or 7. You can make new suits. There's no problem with making new suits, but why are they all like weird and bad looking and don't represent the characters at all? And it's nothing the characters would ever wear. I don't know. Maybe it's subjective. Maybe there's lots of people who like the outfit designs in Gotham Knights, but most of the people I talked to about it, they also were just kind of like, yeah, I don't know. They're not necessarily bad, but mostly I stuck with the Jim Lee ones I got with the deluxe edition or whatever, because I think I unfortunately paid for that at half price. But yeah, this game, it's fine. It's nothing great. It's definitely not an Arkham game, and if you just want to play like a fun beat 'em up that's Batman themed with friends, it is cool to play as Batgirl, Red Hood, Nightwing, and Robin. Although I don't like Robin's characterization very much in this game. March 2nd. Same day, I also beat the Midgar DLC for Power Wash Simulator. I like this one a little bit more than the Tomb Raider stuff, just because I'm more familiar with Final Fantasy, obviously. But yeah, just more of the same Power Wash stuff. This time it was bikes, a robot, one of the bosses. Was there even a room? I don't even remember if you wash a room or not. Goddamn. Next up, you might want to count this as not complete, but I don't. March 10th. Shining Soul 2 for the GBA. This is a fun little Diablo kind of game set in the Shining Sega RPG universe. I think those are all connected, like in one timeline, but maybe spread across. I'm not totally sure. Shining's a series I want to know more about, but there's so many strange like outcroppings, I'm not sure where to go. I guess just Shining Force and stuff. I've tried to play Shining in the Darkness multiple times, and then I keep like halfway through ending up just like playing something else. Maybe that's a sign. I don't know. Anyway, Shining Soul 2, it's a fun little Diablo kind of game. You choose a class, and it's a very, very basic, like, you have 2 attacks or 3 attacks maybe, and you just fight things, get EXP, level up. Eventually you get more, like, special attacks, because, yeah, you have, like, 2 basic attacks, and then I think you get some specials or something like that. But, yeah, my game save got corrupted on the final boss because I was, like, speeding up and save stating, because, yeah, I don't give a shit if you care about save states. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I use them for like levels because I don't want to waste time like losing lives or like loading through stuff. I'd rather just quickly reload it. So I think it was a mix between quick saving, quick loading, and fast forwarding rapidly in succession that ended up corrupting my save on the final dungeon. And I did not want to replay that, so I haven't. But it was pretty fun, so maybe I'll eventually truly beat it with a different class or something. I think I played the werewolf guy, or the wolf dude, or whatever. It was fun, though. I would recommend it. It's not the greatest, and it is kind of a grind after a point, but I mean, it's like a Diablo-style GBA game, so what do you expect? March 30th, I beat Kirby Superstar Ultra. Kirby, for the Nintendo DS. Kirby Superstar for the Super Nintendo is a childhood favorite of mine that I grew up with, obviously, and love the fuck out of it. That's like where that game is why I like the Kirby series. Honestly, a big reason I like video games, probably, because that was one of my earliest games I played a fuck ton of. Yeah, so Kirby Superstar Ultra is just that with quote-unquote prettier, I don't know, they both look good, I'd say, graphically, with prettier graphics and a few more modes, and everything that came in Superstar. So technically it's a superior package. And it's great. I finally just beat it. I'd never beat it before. And yeah, it's one of my favorite games of all time with even more cool content. So yeah, I highly recommend it. If you haven't played a Kirby game, Kirby Superstar or Kirby Superstar Ultra, they're both very easy to play through various means. And very, very worth it. April 2nd, I beat V Rising co-op with a friend. And this is a game I liked the beginning of, but eventually just didn't like the grind of. And I think that might just be the progression of the genre in general. It was alright. I didn't really care for the building, the castle, like, building mechanics. I know that there's, like, floors now, so maybe I would like that a little bit more. But as it was, when I beat it, you couldn't, like, go vertically, and so everything was just kind of spread out in a... I don't know. It was okay. Yeah, eventually, I think I'm just bad at the game, but, like, eventually, like, the last three bosses, there's one boss in particular, I think it was the third to last one we beat, that, like, I just felt was, like, basically impossible, and, like, I was hella holding us both back. But when we finally got past him and the next two bosses were still pretty difficult for me, but a little less so than the other guy. I don't know. I just don't think it's, like, a genre for me, or, like, I don't like it as much to, like, beat a whole game of it, because I've never really beaten many survival games. There's The Forest, Sons of the Forest. Most other survival games I've tried to play, Ark and, like, Conan, and there's a couple others. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but that I just gave up on. But Fear Rising's not bad, and, like, the vampire powers are kind of cool, and I do like the element of, like, you can't be in the sunlight, so you gotta, like, dance around the shadows, even though that can be, like, annoying sometimes. But, yeah. I wish there was also a better fast travel system, just because I don't like having to walk down the same paths. And there are ways to, like, fast travel a little bit, but not much. And maybe they improved it. I'm not sure. April 3rd, I played through the Season Pass 2 content for Borderlands 3 on my PS4. I think that's one of the last things I played on my PS4, because now I cannot get that thing to run for more than a couple minutes before it freezes. Very irritating. Started happening right after the launch of the PS5. Weird. Anyway, the Season Pass 2 content for Borderlands 3 is basically nothing. It centers around, what's her face? I don't remember her name. That awful little girl who kills Maya. She doesn't kill Maya, but she's, like, the reason she's dead. And they, like, try to push her as a main new character. It's about her, like, solving some terrible, like, it's just crap. It's just bad writing by Borderlands team that I'm used to now. Doing just, like, trying to do a cutesy Sherlock Holmes theme mission where it's, like, 3 or 4 missions. That was it. And then I think it adds, like, another combat mode that I didn't care. I just, like, gave it a shot and was just like, okay, yeah, I don't care. I think they might have added commentary or something, but I didn't access that. I don't know. It was very... I don't like what they've done to my boy Borderlands, but especially Season Pass 2, I think that was one of the biggest cons in gaming. I bought that for like $10 eventually. Wish I wasn't an addict and didn't want to have everything for Borderlands, so that's on me. April 5th, beat Panzer Dragoon Remake on Steam. This is a game that I've been wanting to play forever. I love the look of it. I played Orda back in the day, and it kicked the shit out of me on original Xbox. Not good at that game at all. Need to give it more attempts. But Panzer Dragoon Remake was pretty fun. It's pretty basic. It's pretty alright. There's something about Sega games, isn't there? There's just like a secret something. I don't know. The UK Resistance blog, if you've ever... That's some, like, old internet shit. But, like, more sunshine in Sega games, or whatever the hell it is. Sega sunshines what Nintendo don't, if you know what I'm saying. But anyway, Panzer Dragoon Remake, it's like a rail shooter, and you're on a Dragoon, which is just like a dragon, and you shoot stuff, and then you make it to the end. You got a cool hat. It's a fun time. I recommend it. Maybe not for full price, and I kind of want to try the Saturn version to see how that plays. And also, I really want to play Zui and eventually Saga. Man, I don't even hear about Panzer Dragoon Saga, but, like, I remember back in the day, like, everybody talking about, like, oh shit, that's the rare game. Like, how come Panzer Dragoon Saga wound up being, like, the original, oh shit, that's, like, a $250 game, and that, like, $250 is, like, what some Mario fucking games go for, because some people are psychopath assholes. I saw people sound like Pokemon for, like, $300 fucking dollars, like, whatever. April 5th, beat Phasmophobia on Steam. This was before the progression update. I think they like changed how progression works since then. I played more of that, but this is like original Phasmophobia. We just played through every map and beat it and caught like almost one of every ghost, or at least an equivalent number of. Yeah, I like Phasmophobia a lot. It's a really cool idea. You're hunting ghosts. It's fun. You get to act like you're hunting ghosts in a world where there's actually ghosts to hunt, like that would have like actual like effects as opposed to just like, oh, was that cupboard actually a ghost? Probably not. But you know, like that's about all you're gonna get in the real world, and in here you can actually have somebody following you, and you can be like, you can like taunt them. That's great. I love taunting ghosts. I love like, you know, someone's dead, probably like in a horrific manner, and now I'm in their home taunting them. Like why? I don't know. It's fun. April 6th, beat Kirby Pinball Land. That's a weird one. It's a Game Boy pinball game, so what the fuck do you expect, right? It plays about the same as Pokemon Pinball, which is to say not super great, but not awful. And in order to beat some of the bosses, I will admit, I had to use some like rewind, save, load features because I would just like randomly get bounced down in the middle. And I'm like, dude, I'm not going, I am not working my way back up to the top of the map to then start the boss battle again, only to accidentally fall down again. I'm sorry, I'm not doing that. So I did cheat a little bit in this one too, but yeah, it's not terrible. I don't know. I think there's a Gator themed pinball game that's made by the same team. I want to check that out, see how that is. I can't really recommend or not recommend this. If you want like digital pinball, play Zen Pinball or whatever the fuck it's called now. Pinball FX, or I'm not sure even. April 11th beat Deadbolt through GOG. Wow, what a game. This is made by the people who made Risk of Rain, and instead of being a randomly procedurally generated shooter, you're playing as a little dude who's in like this weird in-between hell world where like zombies, vampires, and demons, I think in that order, are working like a mafioso style drug trade, and you're trying to take them out. And it's very good. Each level is like well planned. It's very linear. There's like, and you just have to plan out how you take it out, and it feels really good taking them all out. The final boss fight in particular was very, very fun and like pretty difficult. It took me several tries, but it's one of those games where you like die and come back and you just give it another shot. Highly recommend. Highly, highly recommend it. I'm kind of excited since they lost Risk of Rain to Gearbox. That sucks, but I would like to see what else Hopu Games can make, because I think they're a talented group of cats over there. Same day, April 11th, I beat this game called Bloody Hell, which is like a free-to-play Metroidvania kind of, in like a top-down shooter kind of feel. It's really weird. You play as just like a duck in hell, and eventually you go down and you fight your way through hell, you get back to heaven, and then you like fight God, and it's just like a top-down kind of shooter. It was fun, and it's free to play. I recommend it. I think they've added to it since. Yeah, it was good. If you care about achievements, though, play it on like Sunday, because I think there's I was really annoyed because I got every achievement. It's one of those games where like you pretty much will. Like you only kind of have to go out of your way a little bit to get all of them. Except one of them is beat it on the day of rest or something. So like, I didn't beat it on Sunday, so I was like, God damn it, I'm not playing this game again just because I didn't beat it on Sunday. But if you care about that kind of thing, just be aware. PSA. April 23rd, played yet another Kirby game, this time Kirby Dreamland 2 DX, which is a hack for the classic Game Boy Color title. This colorizes it. So if you remember, there's like a Link's Awakening, and then they made a DX version of it, and then that was like basically the only time they did that. But they also released Super Mario Bros. Deluxe, so there was another DX game, kind of. And there were plans to make a Metroid Deluxe, but they didn't. So fans have been like making Game Boy game DX like ROM hacks, and I fucking love them for it. Brilliant idea. I want to play through more of them because that's awesome. Just colorizing, man, that's cool. But anyway, that's what this is, and I'd never beaten Kirby Dreamland 2, and it's very mid. Brings in animal companions, and I don't think they add as much to the formula as like I kind of had hoped that they would. So not bad at all. Worth playing. Maybe just as kind of like a general ride through the Kirby series, not as like a focal point of it. I would still definitely give that to like Superstar or some of the newer ones. April 27th, I cheated and beat Pokemon TCG for the Game Boy. I found out about this thing. It's this weird method. If you look it up on Google, if you hit like down and B, there's a glitch mid-battle where it'll just like force a win state. Well, it'll force the duel to end with whatever the last duel's win state was. So you win one duel, and then from that point on, you can just hit this down B technique, which doesn't always work and sometimes freezes the game, but 99% of the time you just hit it a few times and the duel will insta-win. And I just beat the game doing that. So I didn't even really play the game, but I beat everybody in the game doing that. April 30th. So Retro Achievements is this website I've been aware of for a while now and been like kind of interested in getting involved with. Just not like in any kind. I would never leave my box, of course. I just mean playing some of the games on there. Oh, God, no, not in. The thought of it. But anyway, so the first game I decided to get a mastery on was Dragon Warrior for the NES, which I love. Dragon Warrior, Dragon Quest. Really, really basic. It's like the OG JRPG, one man against the world. You just grind up and fight people. And with fast forward, it is not a problem grinding up. You can just listen to some like YouTube video, podcast, music, movie, whatever. It was a great time. I love Dragon Quest. May 4th beat Pokemon Red Colorized Gen 2. So this is a ROM hack of Pokemon Red that adds color and also changes the sprites of the Pokemon to the gold and silver sprites. So it's a very, very pretty version of Pokemon Red. And this is the second game that I mastered. The worst part of this was getting all of the coins in not Goldenrod. Oh my god, I can't think of... Not Cerulean. Celadon? Yeah, Celadon City. That was the worst part, just having to grind the slot games, getting that. But other than that, it was really fun. Pokemon Red, man. I genuinely enjoy there's a lot of people now who say like the Gen 1 games aren't worth playing at all, and I don't. Maybe it is because I played them back when they were new, and I was a kid growing up. But I genuinely think those games are fun and have replayed them several times. And I'll maybe not this year, but probably next year, if not. Like within the next 3 years, I'll play through Pokemon Red or Blue again, probably, because I don't know. It's like a pretty quick RPG that I have a lot of care for. Same day, I played the Dragon Quest SNES remake. Now, this is Dragon Quest 1 and 2 on SNES, so I didn't technically master the whole game, but I did master the Dragon Quest side of the game, because I'm an insane person, and I wanted to beat every version of Dragon Quest and get every mastery for it. So same thing as before, Dragon Quest 1, great game, this time on SNES, so it has better graphics, plays a little faster, the XP curve's a little nicer. Well worth playing, especially if you want to have first-hand experience with early JRPGs. I think the Game Boy Color or the SNES version of Dragon Quest, or the Switch version, or the mobile version, those are all, I think they're worth playing. May 6th, I beat a modded version of Far Cry 2. I don't know what mods exactly, but I just made it a little easier to play. I added better gun control and physics and stuff like that, made it look a little prettier. I didn't do anything to drastically change how the game itself works, though, I don't believe. Or if I did, I only made it a little more annoying or harder or whatever. Far Cry 2 is a really weird game. I have vivid memories of reading old Destructoid articles where Anthony Birch would just talk up Far Cry 2 nonstop about what a good immersive game it is. Maybe if I played it in the day, and I'll tell you, actually, I had a piece of shit PC back in the day, but I did manage to pirate that game, and I tried it because of his articles, and my PC didn't run it very well. But I did have a pretty fun time just fucking around a little bit, having everything burned down, because everything burns down so goddamn much in Far Cry 2. Everything is bone dry there. So I have a little bit of experience of back in the day, but mostly it was this modded version of the game that I'm playing now, or that I played earlier this year. Whatever. It's alright, just rudimentary by today's standards, and obviously it was the Far Cry before they standardized it, because you got Far Cry 1, which is just a very standard first-person shooter linear experience, and you got Far Cry 2, which is a more open world, but it's all basically just hallways, which is kind of annoying. Traversing the world was very boring after a while. There's a decent amount of fast travel options through the bus system, but there's still a lot of busy, pointless legwork. Yeah, and then with Far Cry 3, they really standardized. Every game since Far Cry 3 has been Far Cry 3, for better or for worse. 2 still has this unique kind of feel to it in a lot of ways. I really disliked when they revealed halfway through the game that, oh, this isn't the end, it's halfway through the game and there's another map. I was kind of do we really need this? Luckily, I don't think there was too much running back and forth between. It was basically you beat the first map, now it's on to the second map. So that was kind of nice. You also get malaria early in the game, and it's really annoying because it's just a fake mechanic that doesn't matter. You'll always get a malaria pill mission right before you have issues with it, and if you make it through too much of the game quickly, they'll just kind of force more malaria attacks on you. So no matter what, every once in a while you're gonna have to go get malaria medicine, and you can't stockpile it, and it's it's almost scripted, and it's random but still forced on you a set amount of times. And it's a little too frequently, because it's just a generic, you need the pills? Go fight those guys at this random encampment. So it's just a nothing mission. And that's what most of the missions are anyway, go there and kill those dudes. So, I don't know. I didn't really like the inclusion of malaria, because it was just an annoyance having to deal with it after a while. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Far Cry 2 is really worth playing, and I played through, a nicer feeling modded version, so... I'm a big fan of the Far Cry series, and I do plan to maybe this year I'll play through Far Cry 1, because I beat every single other entry. I feel like I owe it to the series. I don't know, my brain's broken. May 9th for the Vectrex, busted that old bad boy out. Played Berzerk on the Vectrex emulator, obviously, unfortunately. I wish I had a Vectrex. Those things are sick. Look at them. They're cool as fuck. They have like the bright-ass lights. They burn your eyes out. That's nuts. Anyway, mastered it. Just an arcade-style game where you're a dude shooting other dudes, trying to get away from other dudes. Didn't take very long. I think just under an hour I was able to get enough points. I think that was pretty much all the achievements on the Retro Achievements website. Yeah, Berzerk. It's a fun old arcade game, and I wanted to play it on Vectrex because I want to play Vectrex, but there's nothing on Vectrex that looks fun. But I knew I liked Berzerk because I'd played it on Atari, so I decided to play the Vectrex version, and it was fun. May 14th, I finished the Marvel's Midnight Suns Season Pass content. Man, let me tell you, Marvel's Midnight Suns is a great experience. I highly recommend you check it out if you like XCOM style games, Marvel characters, card combat. If you like any one of those three things, Midnight Suns will be a pretty good experience, I believe. It has a really cool, fluid, turn-based strategy thing where like where you are placed is what matters most. And somehow, even though it's a randomized card draw system, it still works. It's just a really good experience. And there's enough characters. I do wish that there's a few more cards so you could have a little bit more customization. There's enough cards, especially across how many characters there are. But I still wish each character maybe had like a little bit bigger of a deck. But I would still love to see like a sequel to this that's not Midnight Suns 2, but like Marvel's Annihilation or Marvel's... I wouldn't want Civil War, but that's an example. Something like that, though. I just pick like a random corner of the Marvel universe and make like a fun, weird little XCOM game around it. That's the base game. The season pass, vampires attack, and you got to take care of vampires, and it's just more of the same, and you get a few more fun characters. I got to say, all the DLC characters are fun, if I can remember who they are. Venom and Morbius. I remember hating it because Morbius is just like a slightly more powerful Wolverine, so like I can't deny he's good, but I don't like Morbius very much. Then there's some other guys. Storm, she was great. Storm's always cool. And, like, yeah, she had cool, strong lightning powers. There's one other character, and I don't remember who they are. I feel bad. But, yeah, the story content is very ho-hum. It's nothing great. It's one of those things where if you haven't played the game now, just get the complete edition, and this DLC, like, slots in alongside other content. I ended up grinding a bit in the base game because I thought there'd be more cards than there were. If I had the DLC when I did that, it would have felt more natural because I would have just naturally have played through the DLC instead of grinding some of the other missions over and over. I think as a complete package, it's great. I think as a standalone, go back to it after beating the game and just play through this before. Yeah, it doesn't work quite so well. But it's still fine content. Nothing wrong with it at all. May 17th, I quote-unquote beat Project Zomboid Build 41, which is... Basically, I just made I turned a neighborhood into a giant fort, transformed multiple homes into multiple, like, separate bases inside that big fort. I cleared out the entire town. I cleared out 2 towns next to it. And I just kind of got bored because I had nothing... I could literally just go outside and shout for days. I wouldn't die of starvation and no zombies would come. So, yeah, I just kind of consider that beat. To be fair, I should have maybe gone and assaulted one of the big cities. So there's more content that I didn't get to, but there's more builds. Project Zomboid's a really cool game. I got into it like in its early days, like way back. I think like in its first version or maybe second version, when it was you and your wife and you had to like patch her up and like reinforce the house you're in with her and stuff, like that old. And just seeing how far it's come is really cool. But I will say, seeing the direction they always take their roadmaps is really disheartening. They focus on the most random shit that just doesn't... Why are you guys focusing on crafting? Shit's already, like... It gets boring because there's nothing to do. Now I'm going to make more stuff to make it so it's easier to do nothing. You're just kind of artificially adding steps into the early game that you can, like, actually just ignore. Because unless you're going to take out weapons, which I don't see how you could, because a baseball bat's still going to be around, so why am I going to waste time learning how to make a spear when I could just use a baseball bat to bash in a zombie brain? Obviously, if you're like playing on a custom map where it's like from scratch, that could be its own fun mode. That's fine. That's cool. But like, is that really what matters right now? Because you have a great intro, you have a great mid-game, and then the end game peters off. So why the fuck are you focusing on early game stuff? I don't know. And I also don't know how you add NPCs to that game. That's scary, because that's like a permadeath game. And just having some dude who could like pop you off with a shot or like a sniper rifle when you enter like a new town or something and you don't even realize it. But then on the other hand, of having everybody be too friendly and easy to deal with so that you don't get like a surprise attack, then like what's the point of that? Granted, you could just say, well, you have NPC spawn in the game, so you knew that that would be a risk. It's a tough place that they're in, I get that, but just, they need to figure out a way to make the end game more palatable. And I think NPCs are kind of a big part of that, but also figuring out the balance of how to do NPCs. Because what's the zombie movie really about? Like, the zombies aren't the bad guys. Obviously, the zombies are, like, a problem, but they're not the bad guys. June 5th, beat Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom for the Switch. I don't. This is a Kusagi if I ever seen one. I do not understand. It's not that bad. It's a well-made game. It looks pretty. It's got, you know, like, it's impressive how they made all the little things work together. I know there's several people talking about how people write off how just, like, impressive this simple, like, chain-moving thing is. It is. I agree. I just don't care. I didn't care about Breath of the Wild. I don't like open world games, especially when there's nothing to fucking do in them. And people say that there's stuff to do in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and I just do not agree. I did most of the content in the game, and I don't feel like there was nearly enough to justify the size of the world. And there's not enough interesting things to do of the things that there are to do. I don't care for shrines. They're all right. A lot of them are boring. My favorite part of shrines is breaking them. So, I don't care about fighting. I don't mind the weapon breakage system. I think that's okay. But just the cost of fighting in 99% of the cases makes it so fighting doesn't make sense. Like, weapon breakage is only one part of that equation. Like, in terms of, like, spending ammunition and stuff. I don't understand the appeal of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. They look beautiful, but there's nothing to them. Gameplay-wise, they feel underwhelming to me. And story-wise and lore-wise, they're just, like, they're the biggest middle finger to anybody. Like, even, both in and of themselves, like, Breath of the Wild by itself, Tears of the Kingdom by itself, their stories have so many weird holes, and then you put them together because they're direct, like, and then they contradict kind of almost sometimes one another, and they don't really play well together. And they certainly don't play well with the rest of the series lore, which I don't personally think matters. I like the idea that The Legend of Zelda is just some grandma telling some kids, here's The Legend of Zelda. And then they happen to tell one of these games. But that's beside the point. The lore doesn't... I don't give a shit about it in and of itself. They didn't answer anything about the Zonai. Where's Ganondorf come from? Where, like, just... I mean, like, yeah, they answer that, but, like... I don't know. There's just not enough here. It's just these huge, empty promises. Huge, empty promises. That's how I would describe Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I hope that they move another direction with the series eventually. I used to love the Legend of Zelda series, and it's been tough for a while, man. June 9th, mastered on that retro achievement website, Pokemon Yellow version. Pretty similar to Pokemon Red. I don't know, man. I just wanted to... I haven't played through Yellow in years, honestly. I usually play Red or Blue. So I just was like, I can master it, because this is a game I'd master. It's a good game. And, yeah. Pokemon Yellow. It's a good time. I prefer Red or Blue still. I prefer Leaf Green, Fire Red over it. But, it still has its place, and it's kind of fun fighting Jesse and James and stuff. Next up, June 10th, I mastered The Binding of Isaac Game Boy Edition. This is a pretty bad homebrew game that doesn't feel very good, and in order to master it, you basically just have to get lucky and have it spawn the game in the right state to win. But, yeah, it's like a really rudimentary version of The Binding of Isaac for Game Boy, and it doesn't play very well. It's impressive that somebody was able to make it at all. It's like a 10-minute long game, if that. It's technically only like a couple-minute game, but if you want to, like, win it, it takes multiple runs, because it's Binding of Isaac, But June 12th, mastered Dragon Quest for the Game Boy Color. Once again, this is like the SNES version. This is Dragon Quest 1 and 2. So I only mastered the Dragon Quest half of the game, technically. So I didn't actually master the game. Dragon Quest, lovely game. GBC, SNES, NES, Switch, mobile. Play it on your microwave. Play it on your fridge. Play it in Doom. It's a good game. Recommend it. Next up, June 17th. This was really random, but Bill from Good Old Days Gaming and me got together and played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, and he uploaded it to his channel. We haven't really done anything since then, but that was a fun couple hours chat and gameplay session we had with him. But I beat this game about a year before I beat it last year, and I think it's okay. I think it sucks that I played Streets of Rage 4 first, because Streets of Rage 4 is probably the best beat-em-up game there is, and this game is close, but Streets of Rage 4 is still better. This game's got a great art style, the beat-em-up action is pretty fun, there's not a lot of depth to it, and yeah, there's a lot of love to the Turtles theme, but it's mostly based on kind of like the 80s cartoon, which I don't really care for too much, so... But yeah, if you want to check that out, it's on the Good Old Days Gaming channel. I think he ended up playing the same game with Nintendo Capri Sun just like a couple weeks later. June 22nd, off at the beach with my buddy, played and beat Joe and Mac Returns for the arcade. We played Joe and Mac, a game that I played in my childhood, and only recently realized it was Joe and Mac, or maybe Joe and Mac 2. And we played that and we really liked it. So this year we played through Joe and Mac Returns, which is an arcade game that plays very, very differently. It's like a single screen, kill all the enemies to move on type arcade game. It was still very fun. Very straightforward, but very fun. I recommend it. Joe and Mac 2 is a better game. June 29th, mastered Pokemon Gold version. At least I'm not replaying the same shit for like the 5th time, right? Now I'm in Johto, and this was fun playing through this, getting to see all the content in Johto. I haven't done that in a long time. I got like halfway through a Heart Gold playthrough several years, maybe, I don't know how long ago now, a long time ago now, so it's been a while since I played through Johto stuff, and this was really fun. Pokemon Gold's a good... I love the look of Game Boy Color games, man. I wish that aesthetic didn't die just because we moved past it. Although I'm glad that there are several indie people who are kind of making GBC looking games, so that's kind of nice. It lives on in that way. Next up, June 30th, me and a buddy beat Orcs Must Die 2 on Steam. This is a tower defense game where your orcs are coming in and they must die, and you have some, like, I played as this lady with mystical stick, so I like could use magical powers to fight them. I think he was playing the dude who had like a sword, so I think he was more of a melee guy. But yeah, you like place turrets, I think they're called usually, and you kill the orcs. It's really straightforward. It's fun, especially in co-op. We played through, I think, every single map that there was available, and I had a fun time. I wouldn't go for like 100%ing this or anything, but just like playing through the main campaign as is, I think it's worth it. July 28th, I beat Exoprimal on Xbox Game Pass. This is a game I feel so bad for because it is a fantastic game. It's kind of similar to Anthem, really, where Anthem was a great game and then they just like didn't give it shit. So Exoprimal is a very, very fun arcade shooter with in multiplayer where you're fighting dinos and then there's another team and then at the very end there's like a face-off between the two, and it's very fun in that way, but there's very few maps. When you're playing it, the more you play, the more story you unlock. And the way you unlock the story is kind of fun. It's like little news bites, or like these guys have a talk, or you find this item and this guy comments on it, and then there's like a wheel, and the wheel slowly fills in, and then it's connecting all the dots between all the little news pieces that you find. I think it's a very fun and unique way to present a story. I think I forgot what I was saying. Oh, yeah, so as you're unlocking the story and making progress, you unlock more and more missions. But there's 5 people on your team and 5 people on the other team. That's 10 people. So it goes with whoever is the, like, not furthest in. So whoever's made the least amount of progress, that's the mission pool it picks from because it doesn't want to spoil future stuff for them. So when I played this on launch, it really fucking sucked because it took forever to get into a match with people who were at like the same story point, especially when I was towards the end of the story. It took a very long time to get into those in-game missions because I just kept playing early game missions with newbies. No hate at them, it's just the way the game's designed, unfortunately. It sucks because there's a really fun game trapped in just like a strange package, and I don't know why they packed it that way. I hope that they managed to do something with it. I'm not sure. It definitely shouldn't be... You shouldn't have to pay for Exoprimal. I don't think it's worth money in its current state, unfortunately. Maybe if they made battle passes that were worth it, it would be fine as a free-to-play with like a $10 a 3-month period battle pass, which like that sucks. But Exoprimal's worth playing But yeah, I don't know how you monetize it. It's fucked up, man. Capitalism's hell. July 29th, I beat Mario Kart Midnight version 1.3, which is a Wii hack. Ended up playing a lot of Mario Kart Wii hacks. And starting with this one, I don't really remember what it's about, but I'll just kind of quickly say all these Wii hacks add a bunch of levels, upwards of like 3,000. So many people have added. They've hacked tracks into Mario Kart Wii. Most of them are all really good. They've got there's tons of like Mario themed ones, tons of like stuff ripped from other racing games like Crash or Sonic, stuff like levels from Sonic, like there's a special stage from Sonic CD, that's a track. Like there's a Kirby Dreamland level that's really like lovingly made and kind of fun to race on. And then there's like totally unique tracks that are just, this guy's like, I want to make a Crystal Cave track, and it's just like you're just in a Crystal Cave, and that's nice. Some of them don't really work so well, but overall I think all of the Wii hacks were very, very cool. Mario Kart Midnight in particular is one of the better ones, with like a smaller set of tracks so you don't get overwhelmed. Same day, I checked out and beat Super Smash Bros. Melee 64. This is a GameCube hack. I don't even really remember this one. I think this is the one that kind of turns it back into Mario Super Smash Bros. 64. Like, I think it takes characters out and, like, makes it play like 64 did and, like, look like 64 did. Like, the menus and stuff. Not 100% sure. It didn't have a huge impression on me, I'm not going to lie. July 31st, this is another one I didn't really beat, but I played and beat a round of every game. Mario Sports Mix. I wanted to see this game. Apparently you can like fight fucking Behemoth on a basketball court as Mario and Black Mage, so I wanted to see that. But then I looked up the unlock requirements, and you literally just have to play the game for hours and hours and hours, and I was like, no, I don't enjoy this enough to do that. Maybe one day I'll beat Mario Sports Mix and get into it, but for now I'm counting this as beat because I played every mode. And there's like what, tennis, basketball, baseball, I don't remember what all there's 5 games on there, and they were all fine. July 31st, this one's totally not beat at all because this game does not work. Donkey Kong Barrel Blast for the Wii. You shake your arms vigorously back and forth nonstop. No, I'm not fucking playing. That hurts. And I didn't even get through a round, and I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, I'm in pain. Like, just like wrist flicking. No, dude, that's not. Oh man, no, you don't. You stop making games that hurt people, Nintendo. I thought you learned your lesson with Mario Party 1. What the fuck? Same day, I beat, this one was legit, Newer Super Mario Bros. Falling Leaf. This is a very small mini hack for New Super Mario Bros. Based off of Newer Super Mario Bros., which is a very good hack that I have played a bit of but haven't beat yet. But this is like a small 5-6 level hack. It was all just based on an autumn theme, and played great. It's New Super Mario Bros. Like, you're going to get what you're going to get, which is solid platforming, if a little soulless. But, you know, these guys actually put a little bit of soul in it. So, you know, this is kind of actually some of the best New Super Mario Bros. August 2nd, I beat Mario Kart Double Dash. I'm not sure if I ever technically beat this game or not, but I got gold on every single, what do you call it, Grand Prix? I don't know. I got a gold trophy on everything. And even the stupid All-Star Cup or whatever, that I did not like that. But Mario Kart Double Dash, it's a really fun game. It's got some unique mechanics, and the driving feels drastically different than it would in future titles, where I feel like since about 7 they've kind of locked in what the game's supposed to feel like, and 8 is really nailed down exactly how Mario Kart I think should feel. But I do like Mario Kart Double Dash's more not floaty, I don't know how to describe it. It just feels different, and it's fun to play, and the 2-player like switching between your items thing is neat. And yeah, I don't know if they could ever really bring Double Dash back or how they would go about it, because I don't, maybe Double Dash 2 would be a cool next Mario Kart game, mix it up a little bit. But if you can, I would definitely recommend checking out Mario Kart Double Dash. August 3rd, beat Mario Kart Wii. I never had Mario Kart Wii. I played it at a friend's house a few times. But yeah, I just, same thing. I got a gold on every single Grand Prix, I guess. It's fun. I don't know. It's not my favorite Mario Kart. It's not a bad one at all. Honestly, I can't even remember what like stages are new on it, other than like, I know that Maple Tree, that was new on there. Like the Rainbow Road I'm familiar with. It's good. Plays well. Introduced bikes, which I don't particularly like very much. Though I'm finally starting to understand how they work in Mario Kart 8. I've been forcing myself to try them out. I'm still a kart boy, though. Still a kart boy. August 7th, me and my best friend beat Halo Combat Evolved on Steam, and that is not a very good game. It is long and drawn out with the same copy-pasted corridors over and over and over again, non-stop. I was not a multiplayer guy, so I only played the single-player campaigns for the Halo series. For some reason, I remember liking this a lot more. I do not like it very much at all now, though. Some of the early levels are fun. That one at night when you're on the cliffs and it starts off with you sniping and then going up into the ship. Honestly, up to that point, the game's pretty good. I think that's mission 2. And past then, it stops being so good. There's a few fun moments, but I don't know. Unfortunately, I think Halo 3 is when the campaign started being good, but Halo's alright. August 7th, I go Mario Kart crazy. Mario Kart 64 Amped Up, version 2.95a. This is just a Mario Kart 64 mod that adds new tracks and some different mechanics. This was my preferred Mario Kart 64 mod. I don't really know exactly what to say about it, though. It'd be the one to check out. The next day, I beat Mario Kart 64 Over Kart 4 plus DLC, whatever that means. I didn't like this one quite as much as Amped Up. That's all I really remember about it. August 9th, I beat Mario Kart Super Circuit Free Mastered 1.5, a GBA hack. This basically fixes several problems with Super Circuit and makes, like, I think it's the sound better. There's, like, some stutter on one of the maps that fixes. It's just some general fixes to the game that makes it play a little smoother. And, yeah, I don't really care for it because it's Super Circuit, and I'm sorry, but Super Circuit's kind of clunky feeling. It's not bad. It's just, I don't know. I don't prefer it. The same with Super Mario Kart, man. I grew up with that. I loved that game as a kid. It's really, it's fine. August 13th, I beat Mario Kart Double Dash Extended, version 1.0. Yeah, this is just, I think this just added a few more tracks to Double Dash. Pretty sure. And they were decent. I don't really remember anything sticking out in particular. August 15th, I beat Mario Kart Tour for the Android. Pretty awful experience, but not the worst. You play through like one season. I don't know how long it is. Let's say like 3 months or so. And then you have that content. And then after that time period's up, they like just give you new content. And then that's like the races in order that you can play. And every day you can only play so many races and that kind of thing. I don't know. It was kind of bad. I wouldn't really recommend it. I think it's dead now anyway. I mean, like, you can still play it, but it's just like recycling old content. So, I mean, at least everything that's going to be in it's in it now. Next up, August 20th, I beat Mario Kart Arcade GP2, which also is basically beating 1, and I think Deluxe, because all the games have the same courses. The arcade games are weird. They play very differently. There's like a brake boost involved instead of like normal drift boosting and stuff. And all of the courses, for the most part, there's like 1 or 2 just straight line courses. They've got some cool themes. I like the idea that there's so many items, but they only give you a limited pool per race anyway, and each race is so basic. I don't think the Mario Kart arcade games are very good, unfortunately. And they're also a real bitch to emulate, I'll tell you that. I don't know. I think they're a fun novelty to check out, but I think there's a reason people don't really talk about them or clamor to play them. Then on August 21st, I beat Mario Kart 7 on the 3DS. This is another one that I didn't really get into because I never owned a copy. And yeah, it's a great time. Plays like prototype Mario Kart 8. It's fun. I think it still holds up and is worth playing. Same day, I beat Super Mario Run for the Android. I don't know why, but after playing Mario Kart Tour, I was kind of curious how Super Mario Run, the platformer, worked. And it was like $10, so I was like, fuck it, I'll buy it. And it's just a really whatever, ho-hum, nothing experience that doesn't take very long to get through. Wouldn't recommend spending $10 on it. Wouldn't really recommend downloading it at all. August 24th, I beat Yoshi's Racing Resort Plus. This is a Mario Kart Wii hack. And it just adds a bunch of like golf courses as races and like tennis courses as races and like Wii Fit and Wii Sports, like just various things like that. It's all like sports themed things. It was fun. I liked it. Same day, Nintendo Boys custom track picks. Another just random pick of Wii tracks. A lot of these even have like the same tracks. Like they're not all exactly the same, but they'll have like several tracks show up in multiple hacks. Because it's basically like, there's however many tracks are in the base game, and then they found a way to expand it. So some people expand it to like, I don't know, say 30. Some people expand it to like 100. Some people expand it to way more than that. So then they'll just fill in the different slots, and sometimes they'll just slot in tracks that are in multiple other packs. It's very odd. A day later, August 25th, I beat Mario Kart Z, version 1.4. Another same thing. It's just another Wii hack. I think this one was kind of so I don't know. And then August 30th, Mario Kart DS for the DS. Beat this version too. The only Mario Kart game I didn't beat was Super Mario Kart, and I'm pretty mad about it because I ended up doing like a full Mario Kart marathon in August for some reason, and I do not know why. Other than I love Mario Kart. I'd recommend it. I recommend playing Mario Kart. September 12th, I beat Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire. This game makes me sad because it's not a pirate RPG, but it's quote-unquote a pirate RPG where you're on a boat sailing around an archipelago, but really all that means is that it's more annoying to get from location to location. More locations are singular and like just their own thing that has nothing to do with anything else, so it's not an interconnected world like the first one was. And just, I don't know, man. Ship combat was kind of interesting. Being able to combat on your ship, that's neat. The story was kind of fun. It felt less cohesive than the first game, though. And, like, the overall plot kind of felt like we were just doing the same thing over again. And then it ends with, like, a choice. Are we ever going to see... How could we ever see... Because it's such a... There's two different choices you can make, and I think that they're so drastically different. If you made a third game, you'd basically need to make a red and a blue version. I mean, obviously, they would just say, well, this is the canon ending, so that's the version we make. But if they chose, like, not my ending, or they chose not your ending, it would be very frustrating, I feel. It wasn't terrible. It was worth playing through, but it was definitely a downgrade from the first one, in my humble opinion. September 14th, I beat a game you can't really beat. F-Zero 99 for the Switch. Played several rounds of it. It's fine. It's chaotic. It's nonsense. It's going to die in a year. I don't know. I hope it means there's some other F-Zero project in the works, because F-Zero deserves better than what it's gotten. Even though I'm not good at F-Zero, I would definitely support an F-Zero game. I played F-Zero 99 and then bounced right out. I'm kind of curious. Maybe I should check it out again, see how lively it is, see if people are still playing it. On October 4th, I beat Dome Keeper for GOG. Dome Keeper is like a weird little rogue-like game where every so often these alien creatures attack your dome, and when they're not, you're digging down below it to find resources in order to upgrade your dome, either its defenses, its weapons, or a couple other things. You can get like special stuff to make it so you can dig better and things like that. It's cute. I think it's in early access, so I think there's going to be more stuff added to it. But yeah, it's pretty bare bones, and it's not at all bad. It's like a fun little roguelike game. I wish there was more content to it, or maybe a little more depth, ironically, having it be like a digging game. But what's there is nice. It's a fun little distraction. October 19th, there was a Halloween challenge on the Retro Achievements website. And one of the games for the challenge was Slender, 8 pages for the Game Boy Color, which is a very short and very crummy Game Boy Color homebrew game where you run around a camp and you grab 8 pages before Slender Man gets you, and Slender Man can get you very easily. It's not worth playing. It was kind of fun for the little Halloween challenge, and that's it. There was other Halloween games, but they were much longer, and I didn't want to dedicate time to them at that point, so I didn't. October 25th, Super Mario Bros. Wonder for the Switch. This could be Game of the Year if it wasn't for the fact that this is half of a game. This is the first half of a game. I don't care what you say. There just is half a game's worth of content here. I love what's here. It's excellent. This is like a gourmet course that they only gave me half of, and I'm like, where the fuck is the rest of my food? And they're just like, get out, restaurant's closing. I don't want to get out. I want the rest of my food. I don't know. Maybe I'm being entitled, but just... What's here is such a breeze. This literally feels like the first easy half of a game before like the second half of the game kicks into gear. Maybe not even half, maybe just a third, maybe another 2-3 worlds worth of good content. What's here is great. I just feel like, and especially since I heard that they had over 2,000 ideas for Wonder idea, like what? What? You could make more levels then, because I don't think they're going to do DLC for this. Maybe they will, and I would buy it if they did. But I would still feel a little gypped and feel like maybe you could have just included this in the Mace game, because it feels a little lacking in terms of like length. Again, what's there is excellent, 10 out of 10. It just kind of stops. And there's also no difficulty whatsoever. I haven't beat the final level, because the final level you literally have to 100% everything to get. And I just was kind of disheartened by how little content there was. I just kind of stopped playing the game. I've heard that level's hard. but there's no difficult level before that. There's one where you have to run and there's like a colored block that's moving on a timer, and you have to like stay in sync with it. But that's a very short level, and yeah, it took me several tries and had me like yelling expletives at the TV. I don't know. There's one hard level. October 27th, I beat a much better Mario game, Yoshi's Safari for the SNES, just because, like, I don't know, I always wanted to play through this, and I just want to see what it was like. It's very whatever. It's just, you shoot any random... It's kind of cool seeing weird sprites of all these Mario characters, because you never see them at this angle or this... I don't know, it's very weird. It's surreal. But, it's like a fun little playthrough, and it's not too long. I wanted to master it, but I have to play through the game again on hard mode, and I just don't feel like it. So maybe one day I will, but as of right now, I just beat the base mode or normal difficulty, and it was a cute, random little experience. November 7th, I beat SteamWorld Dig on Steam. This is a great game that I beat back on, I think, 3DS is what it came out on originally. This is kind of similar to Dome Keeper in that you're digging down, less so in that there's no monsters attacking you, there's just a town up top. But yeah, this is the start of the SteamWorld... Well, it's not the start. There was actually another SteamWorld Tower Defense game on the Nintendo DS. Or DSi? Yeah, DSi. Because it was download. There was no downloads on DS. My god. Anyway. So this is the second SteamWorld game. And it's just this like cute little universe of robots in like a kind of Wild West setting. And there's a few overarching things, but I don't know. They're kind of disparate. But yeah, SteamWorld Dig, you just dig in, you get gold, you upgrade yourself to dig better to get more gold, to upgrade yourself to dig better to get to the bottom and solve the day. So, it's worth playing. It's a very short experience. I recommend it, though. I love the SteamWorld games. They're very good. Except Build. Didn't like Build. November 8th, I beat the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass. This is something that had been coming out throughout the year. And yeah, it was pretty good. It kind of sucks that half of Mario Kart 8's content is just uglier. But it is cool that there's so much content in the game, and most of the courses are very fun to play, or at the very least, aren't terrible. It's weird, right? It's just weird. I'm glad it exists overall. November 9th, beat Risk of Rain Returns. The remake of the original Risk of Rain came out, and I was really hyped for it for some reason. I don't really know why. And then I just beat it several times. I beat it with like half the characters now. And yeah, it's just Risk of Rain. It looks prettier. There's a few updates, but you know, it's just Risk of Rain. Risk of Rain's good, but Risk of Rain 2 is way better. I'd recommend checking it out. Definitely, if you want just the best experience, Risk of Rain 2. If you want the true experience, play the first Risk of Rain, then Risk of Rain 2. And then if you really want to, Returns. But maybe I'd recommend this over the original? Maybe. I kind of like the look of the original. I mean, the look of this one is good too, but I don't know. It's fine. November 28th, I'd watched Mad Max Fury Road. And for some reason, I just got obsessed with the world. I was like, dude, I should do a D&D game set in that. And like, oh man, and there's that open world Mad Max game. I should play that. I just really wanted more Mad Max. There ain't shit in this game. This is just a very mediocre open world game. It's fine. It's very fine. The story's kind of fun sometimes. It's a standard Mad Max story. Some of the like car stuff is very fucking fun. You can kind of feel like a total badass, like doing a jump and like taking out other cars. Like that's fun. And like the game itself is okay. It just doesn't do any. It's just another Batman Arkham style like action game. So like, you know, that's fun, but it's just that. So nothing super special, but yeah, if you got it for like free or cheap, it might be worth playing. But there's other better open world games. Play Days Gone. November 30th, I managed to get into the closed alpha for the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. I don't think I can actually say anything about it, so I'll just say that it's a game that I played to completion. Well, I mean, it was just a segment. I think I can say that it was just a segment. I played the closed alpha to completion. I'll say that. December 7th, One Piece World Seeker for Steam. So I had beat One Piece, or I'd finally caught up to the point in One Piece where I could actually play World Seeker, because there's some spoilers in it. And this was okay. It got kind of tired for me after a little bit. You do a lot of running around in the same areas and doing a lot of the same fights over and over again. Combat's okay. It's a standard like anime beat 'em up. And you swing around a little bit like Spider-Man with your Luffy D. Monkey, or your Monkey D. Luffy arm. I said his name backwards. Weird. Anyway. It's okay. I wouldn't necessarily say you like have to play this if you're like really want to feel like just swinging around. Like that can be kind of fun. So if you can get it like real cheap, it might be worth it, but it's not anything great, and I was done with it a couple hours before it finished, and I kind of was having to drag myself through the last few hours, but it's okay. And it's like the anime movie logic, where it's just like, here's just another adventure that happens that actually is non-canon and doesn't matter. It just kind of reuses some themes from earlier in One Piece with new characters, so it's not even like a unique story. I don't even remember, but there was like one part where I'm like, this is literally this character's story, but just on a new character, and I was like really annoyed at that. But there are some like new story beats, and like it's not the worst, but I don't know, it was okay. December 20th, I beat 12 is Better Than 6 on Steam. This is a game that I wanted to play a while ago. It looks like a Hotline Miami kind of game, top down, but like drawn in like blue pencil style, so it looks like a sketchbook or whatever. And yeah, you're just like some dude going around shooting people in an Old West. I bought this on Switch a long time ago, and I didn't like how it felt on there, and then I wound up with a Steam copy, and it feels a lot better on PC. There's a lot of random levels where it's just story, and that feels awkward sometimes. It's not paced super well. And I remember towards the end, there's one segment where it's just multiple maps in a row with no fights. And I think the game ended, and I was just kind of like, what the fuck's going on? I'm not going to lie, I did skip through most of the dialogue. There was an achievement to skip through dialogue, so I was like, well, if the game doesn't want me to know the story, I guess fuck it. And there was quite a bit of talking. I don't know. I'm curious kind of to see if there's like a worthwhile story in there, or if it's just like kind of standard fare. I kind of feel like it's more the latter. But it's a fun game. It's one of those like one hit you die kind of dealios, and like you have to get used to shots and like learn where people are, and like doing those sick like quick succession kills of 3 dudes. That felt really good. I'd say it's worth playing. Hotline Miami I would say go there first though. December 23rd, I finally beat Kirby Triple Deluxe for the 3DS. This is a game that I've been playing through for a while, and I just finally was like, I'm just gonna fucking beat it. So I played through the last like 3 or 4 worlds that I'd been playing like one level a month. Like, what the hell? So I just like powered through it in a night or two, and this is a fine experience. I really kind of, looking back, I played through Return to Dreamland. Love that. One of my favorite Kirby games, especially at the time. It just felt like a good return. And then I ended up playing Planet Robobot next, which was a while after, and that also felt excellent. But then playing Triple Deluxe, knowing that was in between these two, man, this is just like a really whatever entry. Maybe they could have just cut this out. If I'd played all 3 of these in order, I feel like I would have been way burnt out on Kirby, modernish Kirby. Because I feel like Return to Dreamland, Triple Deluxe, Planet Robobot, and Star Allies, those are just the same fucking game, like 4 times in a row. I mean, they're all different levels and stuff, and they all do have different things to them, and there's a big robot in Planet Robobot that makes the game very fun. But overall, I don't know. I don't feel like Triple Deluxe really has anything special going on. It has the make yourself suck really, really hard power. Like, do you really want to suck really, really hard? December 24th would be One Piece Warriors 3. Finally caught up to the, Dressrosa saga, so I was able to finish this one. It's great. It's a fantastic fucking game. I love the Kazuna, I think they're called, attacks, where you have like other teammates like just on your side, and as you like fight, their gauge goes up, and like once they hit 1 to 3, you can like combo them into your combos. I think that's a really cool system. And then you can also do like a big special attack where all 3 of you work together, or however many people in your crew work together. And yeah, it's just a really good feeling Warriors game. Unfortunately, I played it on Steam, and so you have to go through a lot of hoopla in order to get the game to fucking function right and use controllers right. And even with all of the extra fiddling I had to do, I think I still had connection issues, because randomly I would just like stop and then start running again, as if for a brief second every once in a while it couldn't read what direction I was using, like I was pushing on my controller. I don't know if that's a game issue, my controller issue, or setup issue. I don't notice it in other games really though, so I think it was something with this. And literally you do have to do some like manual labor to make this game function right on a fucking PC. It's very frustrating. Also, before you beat the final level, just delete all of the cutscenes from the file folder. Otherwise the game will crash when you beat Doflamingo and you won't win. If you delete all the movies, it still shows the movie. But if you don't delete them first, your game will crash. So, what the fuck ever. Gameplay-wise, really, really excellent. It's just a standard Dynasty Warriors style game with One Piece characters, and that's wonderful because they all have crazy fun powers. December 25th, I played through Christmas Massacre from GOG. This is a unique little VHS-inspired slasher game where you just go around and kill people for your best friend, a tree, who lives in your living room. And yeah, that's it. You just go around slaughtering people, and then it goes badly for you in the end. It's cute. Worth it for cheap, maybe. It's cute. For Christmas, I got Super Mario RPG, and 3 days later, on December 28th, I beat it. This is a weird experience for me. So I have a copy of this on SNES, and I got up to basically right before Smithy, the weapon dimension part, and then I lent the game to a friend, and they beat it, and then I loaded up their save and beat the final boss. So there's like a 20-minute, 30-minute span of the game I'd never played. But I've basically beat this game before. But this is the first time I've technically actually beaten this game. And it's great. It plays wonderfully. I love the story. I will say, I get it because, you know, they're weapons from another dimension in a dimension that doesn't have weapons, so they all look strange and out of place. But I don't really care for the design of Smithy's gang. I think they're all pretty lame outside of the Axum Rangers. I don't know. I just don't get anything out of a sentient, like, spear or a sentient bow. But, like, gameplay-wise, excellent. Looks-wise, God, I love what they did with the update. God, I love that I'm so happy they're remaking Paper Mario 2, man. I hope they remake Paper Mario 1. That would make my fucking... That'd make me so happy if they remade Paper Mario 1 to make it look beautiful. That game deserves it. But this game deserved it too. It's crazy. This was the game that no one thought they would ever touch this again. Gino's never going to get referenced ever again, even though he showed up in Superstar Saga briefly. There was no grounds to believe Super Mario RPG would ever get touched. And yet, here it is. I'm grateful. It's a great game. Highly recommend it. Play this or the SNES original. It's a great time. The platforming's a little wonky, but honestly, it doesn't really matter. It's very rare, like, there's very barely any real platforming in this game. It's fine that it's wonky. Could be better, but, you know, whatever. So, those are all the games that I beat this year. I played a couple others, but, you know, I didn't beat them, so they didn't get included on the list. Maybe next year. But for now, I think that's going to do it. That's our 2023 wrap-up here on JG Wam. Did you play any of these games? Did you play any other fun games? Did you play more recent games? I didn't really play a lot of recent releases, unfortunately. But the few I did were pretty good. What are your favorite games of 2023, or that you played in 2023? Because I think that's what really matters. Who gives a shit when things come out? What are you up to? You know, what's important to you? That's what's important. Have a great year, everybody.